Or do I call you Keith? It doesn't matter. Are you hearing me?
Okay, yes, I'm hearing you. My name is Keith Garnett Howard, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, right. I have a brother named Garnet, so it kind of sounds really strange. Now,
Yeah, I know him. I know him very well.
take us back to the days when you started having symptoms. How did this thing start to affect you, basically, and to
Oh,
whom?
all right. Okay, first of all, I, thanks for having me on your program. Right, thank you. No problem. Um, First of all, I should say that I uh, never expected to be a cancer patient or cancer survivor. What really happened is that I was taking normal precaution, very normal precaution, doing a medical every year, once a year. Normally, I will travel to Miami to the boat show every February of every year for the last few years. So when I go to Miami, I take the opportunity to do my medical because I learned of a very good hospital in Miami that does good medical and they do it for a lot of they cater for business people. I don't consider myself a businessman, but I just join in the bandwagon and go and get a check. It is Baptist Medical Hospital in Kendall, Florida. So over the years doing the medical, I had different um, things happening. But my you do when you do a medical, they give you have to go and do your test. You do your PSA, CBC, your analysis, everything they do. They check you back, make sure everything is okay. So for the past over the years, I was okay. Everything seems to be good. In 2010, I went to do my medical, and the doctor, my primary doctor, told me, we have a little problem here. Your PSA went up a little from 0.01 to 1. Say, I don't like that move. But he said, it could be anything in your body. It could be.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at it. So he looked at it and he said, no problem. The next year I went back. It went from 1 to 2. He said, no, no, something wrong here. So he said to me, the next thing is that I want you to go and see a urologist. So I said, no problem. I went and I see the urologist. He gave me the paperwork to go and see the urologist. Urologist told me, he said, nothing wrong with you, man. This is perfectly normal. I don't think you need anything. I said, no, no, no. Something is wrong because my doctor told me to come and see you. And if everything was okay, he would not let me come and see you. So I
Right.
need, I need you to look at it. So he
Okay.
said to me,
Just take a moment there. Just before we go forward. So what we see here is that you had you it is 0.1 to 1. That's like a tenfold increase. Yeah. And then the next
mhm,
day it go from 1 to 2. So it's doubled. Right? So we still dealing with small numbers. That's still what we would call in medicine. They're still in normal limits, right? And the majority of people say, well, nothing is really wrong and so forth. This that's normal. But were you having symptoms or you just went for a check? That's the part I want to think. Were you having things where
no,
you couldn't pass water and
no,
anything of that nature? No?
no, I never had any symptom. And the check was not for posture. The check was just a general
Check.
checkup, annual
Mm,
checkup. That was
mm,
all. I
right.
had no symptoms whatsoever. Um,
So here it is, you related to Doug, and you all both presented in the same way because Doug didn't have any symptoms either. It's just that he's doing an annual check, and so I think this is what we want to get across to people. Don't wait until you start having symptoms because that might be too late. You need to go and get this annual check. So he sent you to your urologist. That's where you were the last time, and you insisted that something was wrong because your primary physician had sent him. So let us go back there.
Okay, after I said, my thing is that if he send me to you, something is wrong. He can't handle that, so he sent me to you, right? And I said to him, okay. He said to me, well, I don't see anything wrong, so you can go back and you can. I said, no, I'm not going back. I said to him, I'll let you talk to my doctor. And I asked him why he sent me because I am in the medical field. I can't explain to you why he sent me, but he sent me for a reason. So I jump on my phone, I call the doctor, and I said, Doc, here I am. I'm with Dr. Papi now here in his office. And he said, I want you to talk to him. I gave him the phone and they both speak. After a while, he said to me, okay, I will do a biopsy for you. And I can do it was something like a Thursday or Friday. I will could do that for you on Monday. I said, Doc, I going home tomorrow. I going to St. Vincent. He said, okay. He said, that's not a problem. When you go to St. Vincent, you go to your urologist there and let him do a biopsy. I said, okay, doc, no problem. I didn't worry about him and I didn't worry about any doctor. I came home, nothing wrong with me. I fine. I go ahead my normal life, doing what I want and. So that was in 2010. I had a I let it run off until 2011. And when I went back to I went to the Bahamas for a meeting, and I passed through Miami. I said, let me go and see this doctor. And there I said, I came to do the biopsy. He said, what happened? Why you stay so long? I said, well, nothing. It's not. He said, okay, you have to do this biopsy now. So I did it. And I said, as usual, when I go to the doctor, I do everything else I have to do in Miami or where I am, and then I go to the doctor after the doctor's home. So I came back home. He said he will call me and tell me the results. So after a week or so, he called. He said, look, he said, Keith, let me let you know this. I have a big problem with you. I said, yeah, what's the problem? He said, I did 18 specimens from your prostate, and every single one of them is malignant between 6 and 60%. I said, what that mean? I understand. Tell me. Talk to me in layman terms.
Mm.
He said, basically, I have cancer in the
Mm.
prostate. He said to me, you have to do a series of tests immediately. And as your primary physician, I should tell you, I have to speak to you um, in layman terms. I tell you this because I have to notify you what you have to do. He said, let's start from the beginning. I tell you have cancer. One, you can sit back and do nothing about it and don't care. Go home and live your life normal. He said, I must tell you this. Some people do that in their lives today, and some people who did all the necessary thing to remove it is dead and gone. I can
Mm.
tell you that as a fact. He said the second thing is that you have different options. You can treat it, you can radiation treatment, you have different treatments. And the other thing you can do is to remove the prostate. And you can tell me, well, you have different surgeries, you have robotic surgery, you have this surgery, you have open surgery, all up to you. You make the decision what you want. Nobody else can do that for you. I said, okay. So I said to the doctor, I said, Doc, let me ask you a simple question. If you were in my case, what would you have done? He said, Keith, I'll tell you the honest truth. If they discover I have prostate cancer now, immediately, tomorrow morning I'm on the doctor's table cutting it out. I don't want it. It can be out of my body immediately once I know that. I said, okay, fine. He
So,
said, but there's
so,
a
so when you had your exam, did they have anything like Doug said he had nodules, but his capsule was intact? So did he tell you, give you that information whether the capsule
no,
of the
I had
prostate? Yes.
nothing. I had
Okay.
no. Nothing at all. No signs, no symptoms. A matter of fact, he said, look, you have to do a bones. No, why I went in St. Vincent now? Because he got the results via in St. Vincent. He
Mm-hmm.
told me to go to the hospital, go to a urologist there and let him look at you and ask you for a bone scan and a CT scan because you need to know if there is any spread outside the prostate. At
Okay.
that time, I said, Doc, I know about this bone scan and CT scan thing because they have a CT scan machine in Victoria Park sitting down there for a while and it ain't set up
Mm-hmm.
yet. So that look out.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, go to a doctor and let him, make some recommendation in St. Vincent. So I went to my doctor. You won't believe who is my doctor. I won't even tell you who is my doctor. My doctor is a pediatrician, a little short woman. That's my doctor,
Okay.
a pediatrician. So
Yes.
I went to my doctor and she said to me, oh my God, Keith, this is bad. I said, okay. I said, so
Mm.
what bad about it? She said, well, what the doctor is telling you, you have cancer and you have to do these tests. So she said, well, you know what? I'll put you on to a good doctor. He's not a urologist, but this doctor is a survivor of prostate cancer. And to be truthful with you, I'm so happy that that was my doctor because he sat down and he talked to me about his own experience and how he combated it and how he dealt with it. So he gave me some insight on how I'm going to deal with this thing. He said, "I will laugh it. We still get together, good and laugh and talk about, it. You say, boy, you'll have to wear pampers in your life sometime. You have to do this, you have to do that. And we laugh and talk. The thing about it is that we have to get proper medical care wherever you are in the world in order for us to survive properly. Here in St. Vincent, no CT scan, no bone scan. So my doctor called Trinidad to get a bone scan, a CT scan, and he
Mm-hmm.
gave them my number directly to get in touch with me when they're ready because they said, okay, we'll get him back in touch with us and see when we can come.
So did they
To this
explain to
day,
you why you needed a bone scan?
yes, he needed a bone scan to see if they're spread outside the prostate,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. So
So
last week
then,
when we were speaking, we spoke about the fact that where the prostate is, that it tend to spread by the and the blood supply to the in that region that it tend to go to your bones first of all.
yeah, so he wanted to see, they wanted to see if any spread outside of
There's some
and he said,
big golf
yeah,
balls type thing that cause heavily and then what you see some like holes. So we call them lytic lesions and these golf balls, and it will spread all over your hip bones and your pelvic bones probably first and so forth, and then it starts spreading up to the spine, etc. And sometimes even the skull, you would see those lesions, these golf ball type white lesions and then lytic lesions, like if you have a hole in the bones that's around your head. Right.
yeah.
So
Anyhow,
you had making plans to go to Trinidad to have this CT scan. So you eventually get there then, and what was the
no,
results?
no, I didn't get to Trinidad because Trinidad, to this day,
Hello?
Trinidad,
Not hearing
no, I
you.
didn't. You hearing me
You're
now?
gone mute again.
Oh,
He's coming through. I'm hearing it.
Garnet, you coming through.
Carlisle, we're not hearing him.
That's
Alwyn, you
just
hearing?
you not hearing him, Alwyn. Are you hearing me, Alwyn? Alwyn needs to go in and come back out. Somebody text Alwyn and tell me he needs
Hello?
to go in. You need to go, Alwyn.
yeah,
You need to go in and come back out. All right.
okay,
Go ahead, Garnet.
okay. I must tell you, to this day, the people in
Carlisle, I'm
Trinidad,
not hearing you.
I'm not Doc. Let me
And I'm
try.
not hearing Keith either.
Let me try and send you a WhatsApp to go in and come back out. Wow, this is why. I,
No, my mic isn't muted. My mic is fine.
well,
Hearing?
boy, he's
You
not
hearing
here.
us?
Hold
You
on, hold
hearing
on,
me,
hold
Doc?
on.
Is
He,
Keith muted?
Some
So,
No.
Mac send Doc a WhatsApp and ask him to log out and log back in.
I'm not hearing anybody at all.
Mac, can you hear me? All right, Mac.
I hearing you, Carlisle.
Doug, send Doc a WhatsApp, and because
Okay.
he's not hearing any of us.
Okay.
Um, yes.
Hey,
Well,
Carl.
yes, yeah. I was telling
Yeah,
you. I was.
I was hearing you. I was composing a message to Doc
Okay.
because my phone talks,
All
so
right.
I didn't want it to. So that's why I went on mute. So I'm
All
gonna go
right.
Okay.
back on mute.
Dr. Leacock, can
Okay.
you hear me now? Dr.
Guys,
Leacock, can you
guys,
hear me?
I'm not hearing anything.
He logged
Check,
out and logged back in and still not hearing anything.
check your mail.
Technical
Check
issues.
check the issue. Check our
Carlisle?
Yeah, I'm not. Dr. Leacock, call on WhatsApp.
Hello?
Send him a message to call on WhatsApp. Tell Dr. Leacock to call on WhatsApp because.
Max send him a message to call on WhatsApp.
All
All right.
right. Okay.
Go ahead, Garnet.
Yeah. I I
So
was at the
uh,
point. You
Trinidad.
hearing me?
Yeah, we hearing you good.
Yeah.
Okay, I was at the point where I was saying that I didn't get on to Trinidad to get the bone scan and CT scan done. So I called back my urologist in Miami, and he arranged something for me in Miami that I can come to Miami and have the bone scan and CT scan done. So I he said he will call and the lab will get in touch with me. The lab got in touch with me in about half an hour and told me to come tomorrow morning to do the bone scan and the CT scan. So I told them, well, it's impossible because I'm in St. Vincent and, you know. So the lady said, well, the doctor's call and say you have urgent, you need an urgent bone scan and CT scan. I say, yes, that's true. But I'm in St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and to get there will take me a couple of days. Anyhow, I got a flight and I went up. And I went to the lab. Um, it's Virtual Imaging Center, it was the name. And before I go, I asked the lady how much it costs for this CT scan and this bone scan because, you know, you have to get the people money. So she said to me, it's $350 each. So I said, okay, no problem. I will be there.
Right,
So
hello?
I went to my doctor and I said to him, that doc,
All right. We got Dr.
I
Leacock
go
in the
in.
mix again. Dr. Leacock. Let me just verify. Dr. Leacock, you can hear us now.
Yeah, I could hear you. What happened to the stream? It just went off.
Don't worry, but I don't know. We're having problems with the stream, but it's important that you are part of this mix. So that is why I had you come in on WhatsApp instead.
So I've missed the what we because you was to go after Trinidad
He
got
was
the CT
he was
scan.
all right. Go back from there, Garnet.
Okay, yeah, as I was saying, the Trinidad connection didn't come through. They never called me up to this day. So I went ahead and I called my urologist in Miami. And he arranged for me to have the CT scan and the bone scan done at a newly opened center, he said, called Virtual Imaging Center. And I went to Florida, to Miami. I asked them the price before I go because I need to know how much money I have to pay. They told me $350. When I went back to my doctor here and told him, well, I go into Miami because I didn't get in touch with Trinidad. He asked me, well, that's a lot of money now. How much it costs? I told him, they tell me $350. He said, sure. You sure that I tell you? I said, yes, as far as I'm concerned. He said, you sure it's not $3,500 to tell you? I said, well, no, it's $350. He said, well, you ain't reached Miami yet? I said, well, no problem, I'll go. So I went, I got a passage, I went to Miami. The next day I went straight to the place that they gave me the address and I found the people. And truly it was $350. And so it only cost $700 for the bone scan and the CT scan. I paid them. And they tell me to come the next morning and, that I can do the CT scan. So I did. After I did the CT scan, he told me I have to wait 48 hours before I do the bone scan. So I went back 48 hours and the technician inject me with whatever they're supposed to. And he said to me, look, you have to come back in 4 hours. But in the 4 hours that I send you away from here, you have to drink a lot of water, a lot of fluids. He didn't say water. He said fluids. He said, you drink beer? I said, no, I don't drink beer. He said to me, well, you have to drink a lot of water. So I didn't even go as far as it. I had a home, a BJ's wholesale close by. I went inside and I bought a case of water. And you wouldn't believe I spent 4 hours in BJ's. I even win a gold chain in there when they had all kind of thing going on. And I put a case of water in the back of a child and I push it around and I keep drinking the water. He said, just make sure you're close to a bathroom. And in the fourth hour, I went back. My cousin, who is living in Miami, he went with me and he stayed with me for the time. And we chat around, walking around the supermarket. I drinking my water. He drinking what he want, but I drink a case of water in 4 hours. And I pass it out back. So I went back to do the bone scan, and the technician put me on the table. He said, you have to lie down here. And he said, one thing I said, you can't get up to go to no bathroom. So I'm going to set you up first, and then you go to the bathroom and come back. And it can take a little while. You cannot move. You cannot go to the bathroom. Even though you want to, you'll have to hold it. I said, okay. And he sat down there with me, and this machine start from my head, going down my body to my feet. And he explaining everything to me as going down. He tell me, son, he said, when you go back home, you have to see a dentist. You have something in that mouth, that jaw. That I said, what is in it? He said, I don't know. You have to go and do your dentist. I think something not right. I said, okay. But I remember what it was when he told me that. One of the wicked dispensers used to pull out people's teeth, break one of my tooth in my mouth and leave it. Then it was there for my life until I had surgery to take it out. After. But anyhow, when he reached down to the end, he said, why did they send you to me? I said, because they say I have cancer. He said, you are no cancer, man. Nothing showing up in this thing. You are no cancer, no way in the bone. So you safe. He said, tell them you are no cancer. Tell them your prostate good. I said, okay, no problem. I'll tell them what you say.
No,
Anyhow,
you can't tell you that prostate good. You don't have any metastasis to your bones, which is important. That's very, very important
right.
because if you had the cancer gone to your bones, then the treatment would have been slightly different. Because
Yeah,
removing a prostate would have helped, but it wouldn't help for the fact that it already spread to your bones. You'd probably have to need chemotherapy and radiotherapy after. So that is what he should have explained. But to say that you don't have cancer, it was misleading.
right. Well, he is just a technician. He don't know. You're a doctor. I don't understand human. You're a doctor. He know about what you know.
Yeah,
Anyhow, he should know. But that's beside the point. The point is that he didn't see anything wrong with the bones, and he told me that nothing wrong with the bones.
that's
So
good.
that was good for me. But anyhow, I went ahead and I went back to my urologist. They sent the result to him, and he said, we have good news here for you. You don't have any spread. He said, no, you have to choose what you want. What you're going to do? So I tell him, well, doc, you don't tell me already. If it was you, you'd have been taking it out the next. So taking it out. He said, okay, well, we have to arrange for surgery and what type of surgery you want. I say, well, doc, before we go into all of that, I have some friends who are doctors, and I talk to them, and they're very care concerned about it. So could you speak to them for me? Because I just want to let them know what happening. He said, yes, no problem. So I call my friends in Virginia and speak to him. I tell him I'm here with Dr. Papi and he can explain what he wants to you. So they speak. And after they spoke, he gave me back the phone and he said to me, well, you can talk to them. And my doctor told me, he said, look, we want all the specimens that they take from your body. You have to sign them off and they will email them. They will FedEx them to us. I said, okay. So I did all of that. And he said, Keith, you will have to come to Virginia. I say, Virginia? I say, okay. I said, Doc, remember, I going back home, I only come, for a little while, I going back home. He said, yes, I know, but it had to be quick. You go home and you talk to Jennifer, your wife, talk to your family, talk to your friends, and talk to the people that you know had prostate cancer. And you decide when you're coming back, but it had to be quick. I said, okay, no problem. I came home. I spoke to my wife. I spoke to the family. I called all my brothers, tell them what happened. They said, so what are you going to do? I said, whatever they want to do, they do. But I know I taken out this thing out of my body. So at the same time, the doctor told me to come to Virginia. When I got back home, he called and he said, all the plans are changed, Keith. He said, we will come to St. Vincent and perform your surgery. I said, who is we? He said, I have the best urologist on the West Coast. I have your friend and a nurse. I have a nurse specialist. I have a whole team to come down because everybody want to come and deal with Keith. So I say, okay, why? He say, oh, Keith is our boy, so we'll come and fix you up. He said, don't worry, Keith, we're fixing you up. I said, fine, no problem. It was in December of 2011 we're talking about now. Can't get flight to St. Vincent. The guys, they called me, they got a flight New Year's Day, the 1st of January 2012. So they came on the 1st of January 2012. And they told me what to do. I did everything. They sent down all the certificates. I talked to the ministry. And I talked to Simone Kiza, and she said, no problem, Keith, we will fix you up. Just give us the papers, and we will know what to do, because these doctors know, they come here all the time, so they understand. We understand what they're going to do. So they make all the arrangement. My primary doctor here got another doctor who will take care of me, set me up before these doctors come, because they want me in the hospital before they get here, because they don't want to waste any time. They make all the preparation must be done and all of that. The doctors came in. They sent a letter, asked me to get a letter from the medical fraternity here, asking the TSA and the airport authority not to open the equipment that they sterilized already to come to St. Vincent. I did that. Seth Mackey was the Minister of Health. I told him about it. He organized to get the letter done, get it from the proper authority, and they send it off to the doctor. They take it to the TSA, whatever. But surprisingly, the people open all the packages.
Oh,
They
gosh.
open them, and they put a letter inside of it and say they open it. Because when the thing got here, and Mike opened the boxes, everything was open. So he had to
So they
spend
opened
an
that in the
extra.
US, not in St. Vincent.
No, not in St. Vincent, in the US.
Okay.
They did. So he had to go over and sterilize all the equipment back, waste, a whole half. They're doing that. You have to do them over. I have to do everything over in the operation room. I have to do everything. So it kind of held up a bit, the surgery. Anyhow, they did everything. And, I was in the hospital, and I got here. They came straight from the airport to the hospital. When they got to the hospital, they said they want me and my wife. She was right there by my side, and he said, well, we have to talk, Jennifer. We have to talk to you because this guy here, he's a stubborn little fella, and you have to be the adult now. You are dealing with him because when we go on, it's you alone going to be dealing with him. So I said, okay. And the doctor sat down on the side of the bed with Jennifer on the other side, and they explain everything they're going to do. They explain what could happen, what can't happen, and what we should do and what we can do over the period of time. You know, I still have the book that he wrote the notes in and gave it to Jennifer. Said, these are the notes I wanted to follow. He said, Kate will be all right. You don't worry. We will take good care of him. And, I had my doctor friends here, and my friends, I had 3 or 4 doctors around me from St. Vincent. See me go in the operation room, and 5 or 6 doctors from the US, doctors and nurse, and they went in the operation room, and my surgery was done, and I came to well, and that was that part of the whole scenario. But the important part that I am concerned about for this program is after the surgery, what to expect, what happened, what can't happen, what will happen, and all of that. Because for the last 12 years or so, because this happened the 2nd of January, because they couldn't operate when they get here, the 2nd of January, 2012 is when I had the operation. It was a Monday. The Sunday was the 1st, and it was a public holiday on the Monday. So on Monday, the 2nd of January 2012, I had surgery done at 9 a.m. So that is how it was with that. After the
So,
surgery,
so
there's a lot of life after the surgery.
who,
And that is the important part that we have to
right.
look
So
at.
who looked after you after your surgery?
After my surgery, the
Yeah.
doctors stayed on in St. Vincent for 7 days.
Okay.
Um, they stayed with me. They stayed, and Jennifer was on vacation for that purpose, and they were at my house every single day, and they were taking care of me. They took me home. They didn't leave me in the hospital. They take me out of bed the next morning and say, "Well, you have time to go home."
Mm.
And they would come, and they would, they took out the throw before they left. They leave in the catheter. But after they gone, one the doctor stayed on for 14 days. That's my good buddy. He called me his brother from another mother. So he stayed
Mm.
on with me. And he spent 14 days. He had another, they were here with the International Hospital for Children at the same time. So a team came in around the same time, and he stayed on with the team. So he stayed and would visit me every day to see how things were going. And that was, but after they left, I was assigned to my local doctor, who is not a urologist, but who is a survivor of prostate cancer. And he is the one that I go to and talk to and tell me exactly what to expect tomorrow and what to expect. Um, Before my doctors leave, they explain to me everything and what will happen. So, but regardless of what a doctor tell you or explain to you, it's until you experience it, you will actually know. You'll actually know
Mm.
what is coming forward. And I like my doctors, all of them, because, they were very frank and honest with me. My doctor said, look, Keith, what happened to you? He said to me, well, before, he said, you have to lie down for most of the time. He said, when you wake up in mornings, you go to the bathroom, He said you will feel good, you will feel strong, your muscles will feel good, you can hold your urine and everything. But you don't make 12 o'clock midday meet you outside your house. When
Mm.
that time come, you go right back in your bed and lie down on your back and relax yourself. If you feel the urge to go to the bathroom, don't wait a second. Just get and go. Because if you don't, that urine will run straight out and you can't stop it. So I'm
Mm.
just, because the muscles now are so young, they're tender, they're trying to build back themselves. You have to
Mm.
help them by resting them. Don't try anything else. Then they give you some exercise that you have to do called Kegel exercise, you know, and it's important. And the other thing that is important is the people who had prostate cancer, you talk to them and let them explain to you what they went through, and you will understand what is coming. And one of those good persons was Bashi Alexander. He came to my house and he had prostate cancer, and he had prostate cancer, and he did it. And he brought a whole set of books for me to read because you lie down here, you read these books, Kegel exercise, whatever, what you must eat and all of that. Bashi spent hours by me. And we talk, always we talk. Abashi was a great inspiration. And, my doctor, who is very good, my great inspirator, he, will tell me, well, he would tell me plain, you're a piece of skin, You have to do what the doctor say. I say, all right, but
Mm.
no problem. He, and I will tell you what will happen because, this, what happened, your mind, you know, is a terrible thing because when that you start to you control, you can change a lot of things that you want to. And I learned that by one time this will be what the doctor said, and I gone, and I 12 o'clock reach and I didn't reach back home, and boy, I had to run to reach home because
Mm.
you know like your urine start running out and you trying to hold it. It's like when a pipe, you have a pipe in your house and you wash a gun and
Mm.
you shut it, and the more you shut it, the more the water run. When you shut it, it will spin around and start to run again. That is exactly the feeling that you have. You can't stop it.
So you
So I,
so your pea skin.
yeah. The other thing, as I tell you, your mind is a terrible thing to waste.
So,
One
so
day,
did you have Pampers on then, or you didn't?
no, I did not. Well, I had Pampers on. Yes, I did. I did. I
Mm.
will
Mm.
because the first thing I do is put on my Pampers if I leave it. One of the things that the doctor said, say, you don't sit lie down in bed, you exercise and so forth. So I live in
Yeah, yeah.
Cane Garden. I decide, well, I gonna walk around Cane Garden. It's when my wife did go back to work, I start doing my walk. I will walk all down to the end of Cane Garden, walk up the road, walk around to Longwall, sit down and watch these boats coming and watch Kingston. It was very relaxing, very nice. First time I could do
Mm.
this because I always had to move, but I did it.
Mm.
And, that is how I had it. One time, my friends of mine came from a church. They said they came to pray with me. And when they came, they couldn't find me because I was doing my
Okay.
walk then. So they went
I
away,
see.
and then I got a phone call from Derek, my friend. He said, Keith, you in the hospital? I said, no, why? He said, well, we came to with you, we came to pray because you understand you had cancer, and we came around to see you and pray. And I brought the prayer warriors and everything. But when we reach around there, we can't find you. I
Mm.
said, but I went to walk. He said, well, he said, Keith, to be honest with you, I expect to meet you right on the sheet and only seeing your head kind of looking bad. I
Uh,
said, oh,
Keith,
that is it. So
stick up,
that is how he project I would look.
stick up in the Keith.
And
Keith, stick up in there. We got a caller coming in. The person is gone. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
as I saying, it's not, people think, having any kind of sickness is a death sentence, and especially cancer incidents. And, but as I said, I did everything. I think I got it right, and I did everything, that the doctor want me to do. Anyhow, what I must say, the life after that is, a life that you have to be be very careful with in the first few months, because I tried to follow the doctor's order as much as I could. Do not lift anything more than 5 pounds. Do not do this. You can't have sex within a certain time, all of that kind of thing. But I must tell you this, the doctor, on the third day after the surgery, I had one of the most uncomfortable feelings in my life. And I had a pain in the penis area, terrible, terrible pain. In the morning early, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. The doctors were still here, and the doctor said, any problem, call them. And my dear wife, as usual, she called the doctor, just to know that the doctors were laughing. And she was, she couldn't take that. Why the doctor laughing?
Because you
So
have early morning
she gave
medicine.
she gave me the phone, and what the doctor told me, this was his words. Keith, you're great. You make me win $100. I said, how come? He said, well, I bet the urologist that before we leave here, you have an erection, and it's an erection you have, and it's squeezing the catheter, and it will pain you. It will pain you a lot. I said, wow. She said, and they laugh. It helped me laugh about it, and it was good to laugh, wake up in the morning laughing, so healthy, and so we went on. So when you get, when these things happen, you get proper lecturing and proper advice, then you know what to expect. You know what to expect. But I'll come back to the point now. After.
Before you do that, I got another call on the line. Nice radio. Good afternoon. You're live.
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. I've been listening to you off and on for a while because I'm at work.
Okay.
Before I move, let me ask you, that rhythm you play when you comes on in the morning, that rhythm is from a movie, right?
Mission Impossible, yeah.
Mission Impossible, man. Thank you very much. You know your thing, man. You know your thing.
All
so
right.
In that way, I guess to say that your rhythm means that your missions are not impossible. You are ready to go.
Means I'm taking on the unthinkable. Yes.
I really want to ask this question because there's an election, right?
Excuse me?
And there is an election coming up, and we are to be ready because this prime minister is a man that say catch you with your pants down, as old people say, and he catch you when you're not looking. But I think that right about now, anything is possible. What I want to find out, right? When you're on a program and you're carrying a program, and you are currently representing an area, or you are a representative of an area, you should be really talking in your program at least first and saying about the way of your constituency, and you must mention about your representative and who you have as a representative, right?
Caller. We actually, I don't know if you're listening to the radio, but we actually doing a health program. And I thought you were calling.
Doing a health program.
Yes, we're doing
Okay. Well, let me leave that for another time. But first, let me say your health program concerning
prostate cancer.
I heard you this morning again with crimes and violence and crime as well, right?
Yeah. But we're doing something on prostate cancer right now.
There's something on prostate cancer. Okay,
yes,
well then I'll listen. I'll catch you guys another time. If that is so, let me leave room for that then, because I didn't realize that was what you're doing. So I'll get to my point probably with your program next week or on another program of Nice Radio.
All right, great, thanks.
So let me leave you. Let me give you guys a room to do what you're doing. But I have something very important that I have to show out because it is egging me and I have to let it out. Yeah.
All right.
No, it's a no holds barred. Have a good day. Thank you very much.
Take care, man. Cool. All right. Sorry about that. Ron Bailey was trying to come in. And I would hate to disturb the rhythm of Garnet, but when you're national interactive concern and enlightening, we try to We try to facilitate the nation. And Garnet, Keith, you wanna go on? You wanna go on? So I'll pick up where you left off.
Yeah, okay.
All right, sorry about
What
that.
I was what I was gonna talk about is after surgery, after um the aftercare and the things that will happen when you as you get older down in the surgery. Now, my urologist told me that I have to rest. He said you have to eat well and give me everything. You One of the important things in the whole scenario is you have someone who cares about you and who wants you to get better. And is no one else but your one who's dear to your wife. And she was the strong focus in my life. She makes sure that everything was managed well. So you must have that. You must have that support. The other support you need is friends who will support you regardless of what. And I have some very, very good friends who supported me, left, right, and center. They were by my side at the operation room. They were, they make sure when I get out of surgery, they were there to take care of me. As a matter of fact, I'm in trouble right now because I asked one of them before. I asked my wife when I opened my eye. She said, "You have your wife nailed to my bed and you asking for a man." So, so, these things are things that happen. But let's get back to the real thing. After you're going through the surgery, follow your doctor's advice. If he tells you to go in your bed 12 o'clock, please do, because it's nothing gonna stop the body from doing what it wants when it wants after that, because the body is not, you're not in control of your body controlling you now. Right, that's one. The second thing is, what do you do to counteract some of these um, impediments or whatever? If you start peeing your skin, what to do? There's nothing you can do, right? So, a lot of us are married, have your wife, or have your girlfriend, or have your better half. Those are the people that you have to look at, right? All of us have our problems, and it happens to every single soul when you reach a certain age. You can pass some urine by laughing, by coughing, and all of that. We know that. We are human. And a lot of people feel very uncomfortable discussing these things, or even talking about them. But, I feel normal about everything I do. And I'm not scared of anything I say or do. So I look at my wife, I see she put on she panty liners and everything in the morning. Why she put on a panty liner? It's so that the urine can, if she have a leak off, the urine could absorb in the panty liner and don't smell up in her office or wherever she is. So I say, you know what? I gonna try a panty liner
Yes.
in my underpants. So I did. I did. I tell you, we have to be very practical, and people don't like me because I'm so practical and so vocal about some of these things. But I am not scared of them. I tell you what I do. Then,
But
I doing
but
little research
but Garnet for a
because
little while there and so forth. Hello?
yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So right, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with using panty liners except that they do have liners for men actually. They call tenor men, I think I know is the popular one. Similar things that you could wear in your underpants that you use. So if you're a man and you're afraid to use your wife's panty liner, there are those that are available that men could use.
Well, I mean, you
Because,
got to think about availability in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, you
but it
remember
should be available just like the liners for the women are available, I
should be an
suppose.
ac-
And
should be an
they're not
actual
that expensive.
should be an actual. It could be night and day in St.
I,
Vincent and
I,
the
I, ag-
Grenadines.
I agree, Carl. Always should
Yeah.
be an actual is two different things.
All right, but go ahead.
Okay, but right now, um, Doc and Carl, right, there are a lot of things available now. They're underway, padded underway for men, available on Amazon.
Yep.
They're washable. Put them in the machine just like your normal underpants, just with a very thick pad, and you can wear them. You know. So these are the things that we have to look at, and this is what you have to take into consideration as after your surgery,
Mm.
right? So basically, I will I got some of those. My other brother bring them in for me. My other brother who also had cancer done, he ordered them from Amazon. He brought them in. And some other friends send some. So you put them on. you, you go to work, you take them off when you come into them in the machine and wash them and try them, put them on again. So that saves a lot of money because you don't have to change the line every day or every minute. So you got these things available. So, and I have them.
If you need,
No,
if you need it.
you don't ask me if you need them. You will need them. You understand me? You need them. So you
Of course,
better get yourself in great to buy them. And
no,
huh?
no, you
Don't,
definitely will need them. But I'm
Mm.
saying
right.
over certain times, as
Yeah.
they went back up over the years.
Yeah. Now, I am 12 years into it. Now, I don't wear panty liners. I don't wear padded underpants. No, my wife said, you're wearing them thing. But put on the real thing. Nothing happened. It's perfectly now. Perfectly now. And you must have people who can tell you what you don't want to hear when you don't want to hear it. You know? Because, I had a father and a mother, and I observed their life to the end. And when you hear Norma Howard, when I go up there and visit my parents, because I go by them every night because I was the jailer. When they're talking to Doug, they'll say, boy, I gone, the jailer reach, he come lock me up. So so I had to lock them up and arm the house so that, security purposes. But my mother, who was very vocal, will say to George, go bathe, you smell stink. And George will comply. He say, you're insulting me in front of my damn son. What's wrong with you? But he gone and bathe. This is to say, when you have these people who can tell you how it is with you, because you're going out in the public. If my wife tell me, look, change the underpants, that smell like it's a peanut. Straight in the bath, change it and bathe. I done with that. What would I argue about? That
Mm.
is my wife, but she had the right to tell me so. I'm telling you so. If you go in George Howard house, anybody, and you hear Norma tell George he stink, you go tell George he stink. You go hear Norma tell you.
All right, stick up in the. We have Reverend Ron Bailey on the line. Good afternoon, Ron. How you doing? Ron, are you there? All right, Ron, like he stepped away. All right, sorry about that, gentlemen. Go ahead.
Yeah, so anyhow, this is what I'm saying. So over the years, you will progress, your Kegel exercise working good, your muscles are strong enough. But let me explain a few things to you. I, I think this happened to everybody because I see it happen to many people. You coming from work at 4 o'clock, you get home, you drive home, you feel the urge to go to the bathroom when you reach 20 minutes from your home. You hold it. And when you reach home, that thing is, you ain't hold that thing. That thing want to come down. You run into the bathroom. And I see it happen all the time. Men, woman, boy, girl. One day, this happened to me so many times. I feel like I want to urinate so badly. When I got to the door, I couldn't find the key to get the door open.
Mm.
I said to myself, you know what? And I did home, man. Let me piss my skin. You know, you know, the mind just tell the peak, I controlling you. My muscles hold up here, and I even went in the house and do other things before I go to the bathroom. It is amazing how the body works.
Mm.
And this is, I see it, I know, I experience it. So I am telling you what I experienced. So I didn't have to. So right now, when I feel the urge, I try to get to the bathroom as quick as possible. But if I can't get it quick, I relax. And when you relax your body, everything relax. And everything happens as normal as it could be. And I see that happen so many times with me. So I'm only, I'm just telling the listeners and what I experience and what is possible that they could experience if they have to go through the same scenario like we did, me and my brother. These are
Douglas,
the facts. These are the facts that happen, you know. Today,
But
eh,
what you stated. Hello.
yeah, I'm here.
Yes, so saying what you're saying is yes. So a lot of the time, so you to urinate, you have what you call voluntary control and you have involuntary control. So some of the
Mm.
matters that you're over. So you can at times use your brain to override the fact that you need to go. And again,
Mm.
that takes some sort of being in tune with your own body and telling when and when you can't do and so forth. Because I don't have, well, quote unquote, I don't know yet, but there are times when I come and I get to the door, and that's what they call door key urgency. You're trying to get the key into the door, and the more you try to get the key in, you want to pee, and then you can't
Heavy it
find the
comes
key, and you
down.
can't
Yes.
get into the house, and so forth. And then you have to get to the bathroom quite soon, and that is for somebody who doesn't think. So that's part of the what you call prostatism and having signs of an enlarged prostate.
Garnet, don't feel alone. I would actually explain last week that I would have had similar problems after my operation in 2018 when I got shot. It was difficult to hold my urine, and I think it was attributed to the catheter, how you pronounce that?
Catheter.
Catheter that they put in
Yeah.
that wasn't put in properly, and therefore a hole in my urine would cause tremendous pain, and
Yeah.
Mm.
I would lose it before I get to the bathroom,
Mm.
and that went on for like about
So,
a
Carlin, you had
couple
a
of days.
catheter in and you were still having problems?
Well, I begged them to take the catheter out because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
The first time they put it in, it worked fine. But when they changed it, they did something wrong,
Mm.
and the pee was not flowing
Mm.
at all. So I was there,
Mm.
and it was just packing up on me. But finally, one of the doctors that came in like about 5 o'clock in the morning, I explained to him, and he took it out, and boom, I started peeing. But then it was difficult to hold my pee. It was difficult to hold my pee after that, for
So,
even
were you
after I
shot
came
in
out
your
of the
bladder
hospital.
then?
Excuse me?
Were you shot
No,
in your
no,
bladder?
no, no, no. I wasn't shot in my bladder, but they wanted to put in the catheter because I was going for operation. You know,
Mm.
because I was going
Mm.
for operation, but they just put it in wrong. They just
Okay,
they
Mm.
fine.
just put it in wrong. So you know, yeah. All right.
You
That was
know,
that was a nice looking sugar apple there, Keith. Save that one for me. I come in.
Right.
this is one of the most
So,
honest conversations I've ever heard
Mm.
regarding a medical issue, inclusive of last week with Doug. And this is something, and I really want to extend my gratitude personally
Mm.
to both Doug and Mr. Keith Howard, because a lot of what was said last weekend was said today or is being said today are things that some of us as men feel they go into the uncomfortable category, right? You don't want to admit that there's a possibility that you might be urinating on yourself. You don't want to admit the fact that you would have to wear underwear liners and all of that stuff. But this is a reality for people, millions of men
You know,
who
it,
may have gone through
it's part of our
prostate cancer.
it's part of our
Yeah,
socialization,
yeah,
where guys would always have to be tough. I remember,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to remember the book, that the literature book that we had to read in grammar school, but
Mm,
there was a quote in it where a young man was upset and he was crying, and I think it was his father told him that big men don't cry, they plan.
mm,
So
mm.
therefore it's like we supposed to be,
Was that
traditionally
is
supposed
that
to
a
be a
house where
war.
Mr. Biz was?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. We
Yeah, Carl.
supposed to be a wall. We
It
supposed to
sounds
be a
like
wall.
a house for Mr. Business.
Yeah, but it wasn't that, because
Yeah.
that's not familiar to me.
Oh, okay,
We
okay.
got WhatsApp. Says Garnet is very lucky, or should I say, blessed man. The kind of service that was granted to him, not many people would get such. All right. Next one says, "Good morning, Carlisle. Tell Big Nai in Mount Pleasant says she miss him, and she wanted chicken and provision and vegetables that he used to sell." Next WhatsApp says,
Mm,
"Thank God for you, sir. That God spare your life. After more than 10 years, you can come on radio and present a real life experience. I
yep.
agree with you that you remove the prostate early to prevent any met, metastasis." Well, is that a medical word? Metastasis,
No,
MELASTASIS,
MET, metastasis.
MET, no
metastasis.
L.
Okay, yeah.
Metastasis.
Yeah,
Metastasis.
yeah.
Yeah.
From my
So that is just metastasis just being spread.
okay.
Metastasis just being
Yes, it's
spread.
spreading. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
When they
uh,
say something is metastasized,
It
that's
go
what I really
it
mean.
goes on to say, "It's amazing you got an erection that early, such a blessing." That sound like a medical. That sound like a medical professional. That sound like a medical professional with the
Mm,
metastasis word. I
mm,
never heard that one.
mm, mm.
Yes.
But
Garnet,
God,
you saved the sugar apple for me. Where you gone? You gone?
now you did.
Must
Did.
see
Yeah.
unmute.
You showed me it
Yeah.
Right,
again.
right.
Uh,
So Garnet, it's 13 years on. What's life
Well,
like for you now? And what sort of follow-up care do you need? And how have you had to adjust your life?
Okay. 13 years now. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Um, after the surgery, my doctors, I had to take for the first year, every 3 months, they wanted to check the PSA.
Mhm.
So I will go to the lab, and I didn't only get a PSA, I get a PSA and a CBC. I learned to read my own thing now, so I know what they want. I just go and I get a PSA, a CBC. Now I add in
CBC
an
meaning
urinalysis
prostate
to
blood
see,
count.
right? So I go to the lab. They wanted to see it, so I normally will get it, call them, tell them, but email it, scan it, email it to them.
Mm.
And after the first year, they said, well, you can do it every 6 months. Well, now I do it once a year now, after
Mhm.
6 years now. And the other thing is that because of COVID and all of that, I couldn't travel because, so I decided to get a local doctor here and do my annual medical. So I do annual medical still by a local doctor in St. Vincent,
Mm.
and still in touch with my doctors in Virginia all
Mm.
the time, still call me, talk to me, and everything. So after that time, I feel perfectly normal now. The doctors will, ask me what I need, what I want, and they send a lot of stuff for me. They will send
Mm.
tablets to help me with my, functions of life and all of that kind of stuff. So
So what
I,
adjustments have you had to
I'm
make?
happy, and I should say,
What
what?
adjustments have you had to make personally in terms of the way you do things in the house, including sex? Less,
God.
more, not enough, not at all.
I let my wife answer that. My wife will
Thank
answer
you,
that
thank you,
question
thank you,
for
thank
you.
you.
I
All
can't
right,
answer that.
stick a pin there. We have Ron Bailey on the line. Ron, good afternoon. Ron's been trying all morning. Good afternoon, Ron. How you doing? Ron, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Oh,
All right, yeah, go ahead, Ron.
hey, good afternoon, Rev.
Yes, man. Hello to the gentlemen of the panel. And
Mm-hmm.
I have followed the program and listened to the gentleman, Mr. Howard, give his whole scenario. Some of the observations I wanted to make, some of the questions that came by text on WhatsApp, did raise them because Mr. Howard's situation is not the norm. He's very privileged. He has been very privileged first to be able to put his passage out of St. Vincent at will, getting doctors on his side and so on. That is not the case for the average person in Grenadines.
Mm.
I am glad issues have been raised from a certain age, especially in your 60s, your body starts to send different signals. I
Mm.
had COVID. I got COVID very early, even before the lockdown. And I discovered that after my COVID experience, I started urinating more often. I don't
Mm.
know if it's as a result of the COVID or what. But I want us to address the average man in St. Vincent, the situation of the average man in St. Vincent and Grenadines. We
Mm.
have the doctor online. I don't know if you're aware or if you're fully updated on the services available in St. Vincent and Grenadines. As guys hit their 60s, if you could zero in on some of the things they should look out for and what they should do in the event they observe certain changes in their bodies. Because I think the whole program is intended to not only bring awareness, but also to provide some solutions to circumstances. Thank God for Mr. Howard. He was fortunate enough to have people and finances in his favor. What about those regular people, regular farmers, and those guys out there? What would you suggest to them? Thank you very much. I'll
Mm.
listen off air.
All right, thank you, thank
Thanks,
you.
Rev.
Let me give a little answer to that. One, we want to dispel the myth that you should suffer in silence. If you think that
Right.
is some if you are over 40 years old, it's important that you go and have your prostate check on a yearly basis. As a matter of fact, in St. Lucia, the Lions Club and the government of St. Lucia has teamed up and is giving free prostate cancer to
Mm.
all citizens. Prostate,
Screenings.
ca-
Not
Yeah.
cancer
prost,
tests, prostate cancer
yeah,
tests.
prostate tests. Yeah, sorry, prostate cancer
Yes.
tests. Prostate
Yeah.
cancer screening to all male citizens. Not only that, our region, the Eastern Caribbean in particular, is very high on the
Yep.
scale of persons who die from prostate cancer,
Mhm.
including, like I said, Randy D, who sat in this chair at this
Mhm.
time
Mhm.
before me 13 years ago. And so to me, it's something that we need to get out in the open. In a lot of
But but
ways,
but
in a
but
lot of
Carl,
ways. Let me finish my
yeah.
thought. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of things that we need to get over. There's a lot of things that we need to get past. There's a lot of things that we need to move forward with regards to back in the days. I remember MacArthur could attest to this. Back in the days, he might be
Mm.
too young. Back in the days, I remember Donkey Cat used to come in front of his
Yeah, yeah,
grand
yeah.
his grandmother's house, A man with a
Yeah.
shovel and a donkey cart, to pick up
Vibert.
garbage. Yes,
Vibert. My friend
yes.
Vibert.
No,
Big up to you,
no,
Vibert.
no, no, no. Life has changed. Life has changed. And, in a lot of ways, while we could appreciate how it was done in the past, is based on how it's done in the past and what can be done now. That makes a difference where us Vincentians are concerned. And we would move on. And I would like to see the same thing about the myths about persons getting a prostate exam, the myths about persons getting their prostate checked, and the myths about man supposed to be some kind of superhero and don't feel no
Yeah.
pain, and
Yeah. Yeah.
don't ever have any problems. Nice radio. Good afternoon. Your life.
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone on the panel discussion.
Good
Yeah. Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
I tune and I tell you, I feel so blessed. I feel so good, that we can come and educate the folks out there in the island. What a wonderful program. Even I'm not a man, but I enjoying it. I listen it very tentative, and I wish that many more will really, you know, do a check on their life because, as Carla said, that in St. Lucia, but not only in St. Lucia, in the Virgin Islands, just give every once a year with the Red Cross, they give every man in the island to come and test freely for prostate cancer. And from
Mm.
the age of 30 something, they will start with until, and truly, that's how they find out case very early and able to treat it. And I wish that St. Vincent is a part of the Caribbean too. They take up
Mm-hmm.
that challenge, and if they really cares about the health of the people and they want to slow down certain disease and so on, then it reach too late, we can't do nothing. My advice that they will really put that in place so that the earlier catch it is better for you. And I laugh between some of the thing, but it's good education and continue to do the good
Indeed.
work. And nevertheless, cancer just a name, but we can deal with it and change the name of the cancer to be cured. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Thank
Let
you.
me
Yeah,
also remind our listeners that we're live on Facebook. So you can actually see a visual
Mm.
as to what we're talking about here this
Carlisle,
morning. Yes. Yes. Dr. Vicar.
Garnet and Doug and ourselves, we have gone into 60s. I do want the young men who are listening to tune into this because we do have those challenges. Yes, we do have a
Mm-hmm.
urologist on the state, by the way. But I do want to encourage young people to think, well, it ain't gonna happen to me until I'm 60 because you can have this problem occurring to you early. And even before that, you can have the problem occurring. And it's for you to put aside the taboos, etc., and so forth, and go and say, let me go and check this out. I am having this problem. It needs to be checked out. The other things really relies on government having a public health program where you talk and encourage men to do it, offering PSA tests like people saying and so forth. And God forbid, there are other modalities that you can use other than surgery if things are caught early. Sometimes when the prostate does start enlarging, there's things that you're going to be given. So I think those are the things that we can do to use a word mitigate, soften, right? The oncoming events and so forth, and in some case preempt them, stop them from happening. So don't let us get carried away that well it's only when you reach the stage where you need surgery that things need to be looked at, etc. Because you can't do things now, right? The other thing is not to be ashamed. The machismo has to go, right?
Right.
I'm afraid to put on a panty line because I'm a man,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? You prefer to
Mm-hmm.
go out and pee yourself then and smell bad and somebody walk past and say he smell a,
yeah. But
And that's one of the myths that
you know.
we have
So those are
to
the things
that
that we need. Yeah.
Carl was talking about, the whole idea that getting this exam is emasculating, having to take certain measures after you go through the surgery, as Mr. Howard said about wearing the panty liners and all of that stuff, is somehow emasculating. But I want the men who are listening to consider this. You can protect your masculinity as much as you want, but how would you continue to live a masculine life when you're 6 feet under the ground? You are responsible for your health. You have to take whatever means you have to take. And you know something I also latched on to what Mr. Howard said, the importance of having a great support structure. Whether it's your wife, other family members, maybe other friends who are in the medical profession, etc., etc., etc. Having a great support structure, it it propels you forward on the road of success, especially as it relates to recovery and just maintaining yourself after having gone through something so traumatic as prostate surgery and a prostate cancer diagnosis.
All right,
Well,
we have somebody on the line. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I
Good
just want
afternoon.
to compliment Dr. Leacock with such an education program that devoting his time and the rest of the panel because this is a very much education program and health. Because a lot of us, a lot of things that we also hear, we wasn't aware of it until at this time. Sometimes by hearing this program, that we were able to learn from it. Because
Yep.
in Central Man, Caribbean people, black people, have a tendency of male or them afraid to attend the doctor. And sometimes we wait until things when you're in pain and sorrows that the time sometimes we tend to run to the doctor.
Exactly.
But being educated,
Exactly.
getting a little ideas about what could happen and what should not happen. When you're facing these problems, you will be able to know what to do before it happens. So I just want to compliment
Well said.
everybody who is
Well
there
said.
on the
Is this
panel.
P?
Dr. Leacock, I very much appreciate what you're doing. They are nice radio on the behalf of Dougie. And Carly, thank all you very much for educating the nation in general. And thanks to Mr. Howard, both Howard, to also come and devote the time and the privacy to the nation because these things are rather much private. Some people wouldn't like to come out and speak about the whole matter, which is sexual, affairs and all like these kind of things. So thank you all very much.
Caller, before
You know,
before you
I
before
feel
you
that
go,
I should.
I
Is
want you,
Yeah, I
this?
feel that.
caller,
Yeah,
I think.
before you go, I want you and I to create history on radio here.
Mm,
All
yeah.
right. There was a song, and Mac, and Dr. Leacock, maybe you could join in. Doug, you too.
mm.
There was a song that we used to sing as children called "We Are to Build a New St. Vincent." Can you join me?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Can you join me in singing it, please? One, two, 1, 2, 3. We are
We
out
are
to build a
all
new
to
St.
building
build
new
a
St.
new
Vincent. We
Vincent.
are
We
We
out
are
are
to
out
build a
to
new
build
build
a
a
St.
new
new
St.
Vincent.
Vincent.
We are
You know,
out to build a new
to
St.
build
Vincent.
new St.
Vincent. The
Vincent.
The
future's
future's
in
in
our
our
Uh,
hands.
hands.
and
Yeah.
then to
yeah,
build a new
Put
Big
you
St.
on the
big
Vincent,
up to you,
channel.
P. I
it's
think this
not
is P,
only
right?
depend upon the politician, it takes
Channel.
everyone to do it.
Hold on. Too much people talking at the same time. Go
Is
ahead,
this
caller.
is this P on the line?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, big up to you, P. Yeah, I recognize the
Go ahead,
voice.
caller.
yeah,
Make your point. Doug,
yeah,
hold your thought for a second. Yeah, go ahead. Caller, you were saying
yeah, yeah.
you were saying
I
something.
say in order to build a new St. Vincent, we can't depend on the politician alone. We ourselves have to get ourselves
Exactly.
together
Exactly.
and partake in it.
Mother,
Wonderfully said, P.
boyaka,
Wonderfully said.
Record,
Wonderfully said.
record.
It's CTV
Yeah.
Multimedia Saturday Show on radio 90.3, 96.7, 101.3 Nights Radio.
Somebody's listening. Yeah, all right, caller. Thank you for your
no,
contribution. Doug, you were
what,
saying.
what I was
Blessings, P.
what I was going to say, um, Reverend Ron Bailey said that um, my brother was fortunate because he has a lot of doctors in his corner, and he had the financing to go to get the tests and so on and so forth. But one of the things that we know we don't have the top-notch medical care in St.
Mm.
Grenadines and a lot of the islands. We don't have it. That is what make it even more critical that
Mm.
you go and get the tests and them done at the early stage. So if you get caught, let me say you don't have the means and the financing and so on and so forth, but you get in your early stage of testing, you find you have this situation developing. It will give you some time so you could yourself arrange something to travel
Mhm.
on whatever thing to help take care of it if you go overseas. Because I know people who will travel overseas who don't have a lot of the financing, but because I'm talking about especially women now, who women go to the doctor more than men by far. And when they got certain things with certain women, they will go to the doctor and they don't have the financing to go. Government is not going to help them because the government have enough doing for themselves already. So you can't look at them for everything. But they will find a way to ask a family member who is overseas, a friend who is overseas, if they could help them to come to the States or Canada or wherever to go get treated. But if you don't get checked and you wait until it's in it, as Dr. Leacock say, in its stage 3 and 4 error, then your chances of survival when you start to feel the effects of what the cancer or the sickness, the ailment is doing to your body, when you
Mm.
actually feel it, it mean it gone too far. Because like my brother said, he has no symptoms. Me, I had no. Listen, I didn't St. Vincent, everybody no running up and down like a madman, here, there, and everywhere. I just happened to come back and do my physical, and my thing rise up 65 points. And my doctor said, nah, go and get checked. I go get checked. And by the 22nd of, I come up here on the 19th of May. By the 22nd of June, I have prostate cancer. By the 22nd of June. And by the 6th of September, I had my surgery. Now, I am lucky because I go and get checked. But what I'm saying to Reverend Ron Bailey and others who listen is that we might not have the technology, but we have the preventative means by going and get checked in St. Vincent. And it's more critical that you
Mhm.
go and get checked in St. Vincent because you don't have the facilities to deal with this stuff in St. Vincent as you do
Mhm.
in the bigger world. So
Mhm.
so
But
so I think sometimes I know people with money. I know people who can afford to do surgery and do all kind of thing, and they still here in the United States, here in the United States in Brooklyn, and they still got a myth about a doctor going and checking the prostate. Now, my PSA was high this year, and the doctor finally decided to, the urologist finally decided to check my prostate when I went to him. I think is sometime around the end of May, early June, late May, early June. And and when he went and checked my prostate, he failed, as Dr. Lickard said, he found the nodules in my prostate, and then he did a biopsy,
Mm.
and come to find out of the eight, out of the 12 specimens he did, I had eight of them positive. My brother says he did 18
18.
specimens,
Yep. And all
eight
work.
Mm.
positive.
Mm.
yeah,
So
but gentlemen,
mhm.
this
Go
is what
ahead,
I
Doc.
talk about and so forth. We have this. Yeah, I was saying in the Caribbean, and this is where we are at fault. I just want to put it. This morning I spoke to a lady from Trinidad and Tobago. Right? She is in fact my cousin. Right? She is. No, I'm not digressing. She was born in Trinidad and Tobago, but her mother and my mother's mother are sisters, and I'm just discovering her today. Right? In the colonial days, we went from island to island. We had free movement, free everything, etc., and so forth. We have grown up with this concept of independence, and we scattering apart. We have things like CARICOM where we could have regional cooperation. There's no reason why we can't have regional urologists who go from island to island visiting and helping out with this sort of thing. And we do have American surgeons who actually come down from time to time. You know, the World Pediatric Project takes place in St. Vincent now, right? So
Yes.
those are the things that we rely on, but there's no reason. It has to be that the government has to take that proactivity. And the governments of the region need to step up to the plate and say we could offer better to our citizens of the region. Chuck the independence concept away, right? We all come from the same boat on West Africa, and we come across the ocean, and many of us are related by genes and blood, etc., and so forth, and to have a different dispensation, and we don't have it. We don't have it, and that's what we need.
And one of the other things too that I would like to throw in this mix here now,
Mm-hmm.
that now our father our father had cancer at the age of 39, 39, 40, somewhere around there. And he just had a different type of cancer than me and my brothers suffering today. Not suffering. We ain't suffering. Me and my brothers have today. My father had
Hodgkin disease.
Hodgkin's disease, right?
Mm.
My father did what he have to did with his doctor at the time, Dr. Cecil Cyrus, and and he went away and get treated. It was rough on him, rough on the family. I see my father. My father is always a small man. When you see your father come down to bone, he had a rough, but he caught it in time that he lived over 42 years after he was treated. And that's my point. My dad lived a full life after he went into remission with his Hodgkin's disease. And to treat the Hodgkin's disease, what my dad had, he had a rough time. Because latter years, dad used to say that um, no plane, no knife. You know? Meaning, don't fly him overseas, he live a good life. And don't put no surgery on him in his old age. That's what he said, because he had so much in his younger age. And if people go and get checked, my dad is lucky to go and get checked and see that he had a type of cancer that is generational. Because my grandfather died from the same thing at a very before he reached 40 years. Before my grandfather was 40, which is my father, he died
Your,
from
your grandfather had Hodgkin's as well.
my grandfather had Hodgkin's disease. And how we know that my grandfather had Hodgkin's disease is by my grandmother explaining to my father when he got sick and had to go to Barbados and places like that for treatment.
Mm.
And he talked to my grandmother. Grandmother was explaining to my father what was happening to my grandfather. And come to find out, it's the exact same thing that was happening to my father. And then my grandfather had no treatment for him. He died back then,
Mm.
right? Now, my father had treatment and he survived for 40 something years after his treatment. And me and my brother is a survivor of prostate cancer for pushing into his 13th year, and he living, I think, living his best life now. I be with him in St. Vincent. I think he living his best life now, and I hope to do the same thing. And my older brother, who has the same prostate, he is living a good life, even though with a little bit of challenge. But he is living, he's surviving. But you have people, you have people who got this ignorance in
Mm.
it that they don't want nobody put a finger up the rectum to check the prostate and they rather die. And I have had people told me, I rather die than have a man put his finger up my rectum. I say, well, okay. How about a woman putting her finger up your rectum? What difference it make?
Mm.
Go to a woman urologist, but get it done. But they got this thing, and I listened to some stupidity on a program with Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp on the program with Ting and with Hollywood kind of thing. But I keep hearing this thing. Nobody is gonna touch that virgin hole of mine. You hear the kind of ignorance, and this is on another topic, but it comes back down to the to the to the point where you don't want nobody to touch your virgin hole. So you rather die in, and suffer the people around you, because just like my brother said, his wife is there and she was his best. My wife is there, she's best thing. And I don't only have my wife, I have other people supporting me. I have a friend of mine who work in the nursing field, and she's one of the main people who gave me the breakdown before I did my surgery and tell me, man, listen, don't worry what them people say. You gotta take care of your life. And this is where you do this, because I see people coming to my nursing facilities, young men at the age in the 40s, especially a nationality out of the Caribbean, Jamaican nationality, she told me. And they now have prostate cancer that come out of because they refuse to go get checked. Some 40s, early 50s, and they come into our nursing home, which has a hospice care,
Yes.
hospice care in part of the nursing home. You know what hospice mean? They should check what hospice mean. Hospice mean you come there to die.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically,
We got Mikey. We got Mikey. Pincham boy. The lines are tied up. We got Mikey on the line. Mikey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Yes, good afternoon, my brother. And let
Hey,
me let
Mikey.
me give Doug brother Keith Howard. Welcome, brother, and thanks for your insight this morning, and MacArthur and all the other rest, and Alwyn and all the other rest, and the people within the listening audience. Carlisle, splendid program this morning. I don't know if I should use the word splendiferous, you know,
That's a good one. That's a good one, Mikey.
but my brothers, and Alwyn, I will deal with you first. And you make a very good point that we, the University of the West Indies, we can't even put a think tank together to formulate policies in how we could develop these slave plantations in the Caribbean, much less to get a team of specialist doctors to move around these plantations and offer the kind of care that Keith Howard was able to get with friends. And I'm telling you, Keith, this part is what touched me, brother. You have good friends. You have friends that could leave America here and come down to the Caribbean and perform a surgery for you in our hospital. I'm telling you, that's good friend. And when you talk about your wife, Jennifer, I know her. Her brother used to work with us as a young youth man. We trained. That's Z. And Doug, your wife. JC and JD. I don't think you guys could ask for anything more. And that is what I take away. That support system and the love of friends that could put themselves out and be there for you, man. And this is the kind of thing we have to come back. And you shown Carlisle, we are out to build a new St. Vincent and the Grenadines
Absolutely.
with the kind of people that we could care for each other, work to put the facilities in place so that we could stop this behavior of I get mine and you get yours and I don't care what happens.
That's right.
We have to build that St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that is why we in the struggle here today. Not because we want something personally, because many of us, as you say, as Alwyn always make you think, our next big event, we wouldn't be witnessing it.
Yep.
We wouldn't be witnessing it, but we're gonna do what we have to do for those that follow.
Yep.
And Keith Howard, thanks this morning, Doug. Thanks for bringing him on, and Carlisle, thanks for a very program, and thanks for that to Dougie to making his facilities available so that we could help those that follow and help all the young people out there. Have a good day, my
All right,
brothers.
man. Take care.
Take it easy, Mikey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. We have to. Thank you, Mikey. We have to make it our mission, especially in the smaller islands. We have to make it our mission to get to people to tell them. And since the program, since I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I talked to a couple of my friends who I fishing with and so on and so forth in talk to them from time to time. And I didn't tell them. Hey, what they tell me? Boy, dog, I hear the program Saturday, boy. Boy, the first thing I do is go get my prostate checked. Now, let me give you another one, right? Let me give you that. This is another one which is right at home for me and Garnet, right? Now, I got my diagnosis from Dr. Mopan, my urologist, on a Friday. And he told me, so I call Garnet, I tell who I have to tell. And I think I come on this Saturday, and I told you guys when we same Saturday. So but before the program go on this Saturday morning, I talked to one of my brothers, one of my other two brothers who don't have prostate cancer diagnosis as yet. I talked to one of my
Don't
brothers.
wish it on them.
Eh?
Don't wish it on them.
I ain't wishing it on them, but I'm just telling you. I talked to one of them, and I tell him, I say, boy, yesterday the doctor say I got prostate cancer cells in 8 specimen out of 12. So what? I say, yeah. He said, boy, I go I walk. I turn around right now. He turned around right away and went to the lab to get a PSA test. Because he said, boy, no. And so on and so forth. So at least by me telling him, he said he didn't have a PSA test in a little while, maybe a couple of years or whatever. I don't know to be exact. But he went and get one right away, and it is under one. It is way under one, and he's a little bit older than me. So it is. So I tell him, well, then you gotta go get your physical and check, and he's using a lot of things to help him. But at least what we talk about here, it is helping one or two, but it to reach more people to let them know that this is something that you don't call these things on you. They just come with age and with time. It comes.
Right.
You know?
Doug, I want to make an observation here. If you
Man,
something that you and Garnet said, right? Well, actually, you just highlighted it about how some of our men, they have taken this irresponsible approach that, oh, nobody touching this, so quote unquote virgin hole of mine. And I use the word
Let me put
irresponsible, but
a little nobody touching it sexually. That makes
right.
all the difference in the world. That
Yeah, but they don't
yeah.
they're not making a distinguish they're not
Make that
distinguishing
distinction.
between
Make that
right,
distinction. You know.
right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they don't realize how, as I said, insensitive and irresponsible they are, because let's say, for example, they neglect getting a regular prostate check or screening, and they end up being diagnosed at some point because symptoms start manifesting themselves.
right.
By that time, it's very late. They don't understand that they are not going to be the only ones affected because they got family members. Some of them got wives, some of them have
Children.
daughters, children,
Mother,
parents,
father,
and they're going to have to sacrifice their time and energy to help them out.
and
So, I
finance
mean,
and
and
finance.
finance, exactly, exactly. So it's both insensitive and irresponsible to think like that. And I'm glad that Doug brought it up because we have to understand, yes, though we are responsible for our own health. Whenever a diagnosis, a serious diagnosis like prostate cancer comes down, we are not the only ones who are going to be affected,
Nope.
right? So
And
we have to get rid of that mindset, man.
I have friends. I have friends
Mm,
who had cancer before, different types of cancer. I have family members who have cancer. It
mm,
and when they get down to a stage
mm,
where end of life start to come into the mix,
mm.
it put a real strain on
Absolutely.
surviving members of the family.
Yep.
And what I am saying is that some of it you can control and you can do nothing about. But
Mm,
for what you can do about, you should. And prostate cancer is one of the cancer that is if you check it, if you keep getting your checks, you will catch it in early stage. Now,
it's preventable. Yeah.
yeah, now, now I have some family members, women, who who have to go and get a mammogram,
Hmm.
right? My wife, most people, wives are the girlfriend or the woman or whatever, have to go and get a mammogram. And sometimes it come back that they got um, cancer cells in the breast.
Mm,
And if they catch it early, it is 100% treatable by a lot of different means.
hmm.
But if you don't go and get checked, when you do find out you got a lump, women got a lump in the breast, it means that when you physically feel it with your hand, as the doctor just tell you, you do your self-examination. If you if you feel it and it deep in your breast or whatever, I don't know, and it jump out and it's cancerous and it jump out into the other parts of your body, then you got a big fight if you refuse to go and get your mammogram every year.
That's right.
A mammogram is every year. A
That's
prostate
right.
check is every year.
Hmm.
And so on and so forth. Your PSA and your physical check, you do it once a year. What's the big deal,
Yep.
brothers, in that case? We gotta.
Man, I just turned 50, and in 2 weeks I'm gonna do a regular checkup, which included a PSA test. And later on this year, by the grace of God, I'm gonna get my first prostate exam.
Yeah, but
You know.
but but the other thing we need to highlight here as well, because um Garnett was insistent on his urologist, and sometimes you
Mm,
go to your doctor and you tell them, and they say no, 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 things are fine. And if you are that worried, you should push the buttons and say no. You may think I'm fine, but I still want X, Y, or Z.
mm.
Yeah, we shouldn't be afraid to have that conversation with our doctors, and that
That's
that that
right.
again is part of the myth and taboo that exists with patients and doctors. That patients go to
Mm,
doctors and they're afraid to tell the doctors things because they don't want to upset the doctors, and so forth. And we do have a legacy as doctors sometimes that we have not been very patient friendly.
mm.
Bearing in mind that they're coming to you for your services, you probably should have a different approach to them. So if you go privately, people will be nice to you because you're paying your cash. But probably if you go publicly, they have a different attitude. But you should be able to say, look, I still want this done. And if they don't do it, then go to someone else, doctor shop. And that's the other thing. There's this thing in medicine where we get upset if somebody goes to somebody else for another opinion. Always go for another opinion if you want it. That's your life. No one owns your life. You do, and you're in control of it. If you can make decisions to say, I don't want this X, such as like the vaccine, you should be able to make decisions to say, you give me an opinion, but I want another opinion, and so forth.
Mm.
And be comfortable with that.
But Doc, it's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that. PSA rise raised to 205 when it go from 50 to 205, and my doctor sent me to see the urologist. He call him and he tell him that what you send me here for? This is normal. And then something happened and I went back the same year and I had done another PSA test by Dr. Scott, and because the urologist said to me, when you're coming to me, you must bring a PSA that is no older than 2 weeks. So then I went and I did another PSA and I carried to him. So I actually did 3 PSA tests for that period of time over that couple of months. And he tell me, why you do the PSA? I said, well, you told me. And this is in 2021. And he literally run me out his office. Right?
Mm.
He literally run me out of his office. He took me to his secretary and he told his secretary, make sure that I don't have no appointment within a year of today with him. She write it down. So I was ready to go to my same friend who I tell you, who is one of the people who tell me, listen, dog, don't pay them no mind, man. This is what you have to do. And she done organize with another urologist at another facilities for me to go and check him after. But because I travel to St. Vincent and I come back and I go right here at Brookdale Medical Center area and my doctor's there and the urologist is there and stuff like that. That's why I went back to him. And when he find out I had 8 specimen that is positive, the first thing he did after he told me, he take up the phone and he called my doctor and he tell my doctor, he called him by his name, his first name. He say, Norman, I have one of your patient here and I'm happy you sent him because he has the stuff, he's positive. And he he tell him my name, Howard. He said, yeah. And he at least he admitted he come back around and he did the right thing in my situation, that he called my doctor right then and there to tell him, and he glad that he sent me over and all that kind of stuff. And I told him, I said, yeah, but you did run me out the office before, you remember? I had
But I am in now. It's important to know,
Mm-hmm.
and what everybody is saying is so true.
Mm-hmm.
Your doctor, what I find in St. Vincent, I explained it to a few doctors already, that I don't like the approach. Some of the doctors in St. Vincent, before you can even explain what I'm to you, they write a prescription already.
Mm.
You can't talk to some doctors in St. Vincent. Can't. They will not listen to you. You tell them your problem, and they analyze it already, and they're ready to treat it.
Yeah,
You ask them a question.
There was an issue
they don't,
with Cuban doctors who don't speak English.
they don't.
Cuban
They're not
doctors that don't understand you.
receptive.
Yeah.
They're not very receptive, because when I goes to Miami and do my medical, I go the first thing before I even get to the doctors. They give me instructions the night before, by 10 o'clock, by 8 o'clock, what you should do. You must not do this. You don't eat or whatever. Before you come to us in the morning, you get a shower, put no deodorant on your skin, and you come to us. And what I find, and I try to explain it to a few doctors who I know very well and could talk to, the approach that we take in St. Vincent, I don't think it's a good approach.
Mm.
Because when I go to my medical in Miami, if I get there, I have to get there very early in the morning by 7. And the first thing they do is they take me Well, the first thing you do is get the money. Okay. And then wait till for that, the money first.
Mm-hmm.
Then they take me to a room and they said, you, this is your room for the next few hours. And they said to me, you take off all your clothes. They give you a gown. They show you how to put it on, the nurse.
Mm-hmm.
She give you a jar. She said, this is to take your urine. The bathroom is there. Go. She tell you how she want the urine. Pass out some first. Then you take the middle and then you pay the rest. Then you go back to the room and they do all your checks, all the medical checks that you're supposed to do. They give you they check your blood, they take your blood, they check your pressure, you know, they take your weight, your height, whatever is necessary. They do that.
EKG.
Now you haven't seen a doctor yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't seen no doctor yet.
Mm-hmm.
When you gonna see the doctor? After they finish doing all of that. You ain't seeing doctor yet. They take you to a room and they say have some breakfast. They have breakfast prepared for you there, right? Remember, you're paying a lot of money for this, you know, so they're giving you everything. After breakfast, this is when you're gonna see the doctor. He come and he have all your results, all the blood work, everything, waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
He do not sit down behind a desk. He take a tray and he come to the side of you and he sit down and he tells you every single line what it mean. He said your cholesterol, he said your blood type, and every single last detail. And he explained what it should be and what it is and what you can do to improve it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So all of that has been done, said explained to you. Right? Then he take you back to the room and he do all the physical examination that you have to do. Your prostate examination, your rectal examination, everything. Check you, press up on your belly, your back, your side, roll you over, raise up your leg and do everything you have to do. And he explained to you why he is doing these things. So after you finish all that, he now make a recommendation to you. You can either do a cardiac stress test where you go on the bicycle and they hook up a whole set of wires on you. I used to love that. And then you can do, they take you to the person who do the dietitian and they look at your result and they tell you. A matter of fact, one, I learned this from them. One of the dietitian told me, she said, you love sweet? I said, yes, man, I love sweet. She asked me, you crave? I said, no, I don't crave for sweet. If I see crave, I don't worry about sweet. But if I go in Trinidad and I see them pretty sugar cake in that shelf, I'm buying one. I love sugar cake. She said, okay. She said, look, you have a little problem and we're going to fix it. I said, what is the problem? She said, you know your taste buds on your tongue. You're killing them. I said, what do you mean? She said to me, if you can drink coffee black, I said, nah, not at all. I got sugar in that. She said, right. You know why? Because your taste buds on your tongue are so far gone that it do not recognize the sugar. So you have to add more sugar and add more sugar. And
Wow.
it said add with salt too. And it come home to me. I have a friend who every time we go out to dinner, every time we go to dinner, when the dinner is served on the table, he pick up the salt shaker and start shaking the salt in it. So I was to him, Philip, why you shaking salt? You taste the food before you shake it? He know he just ain't tasting the salt. And I will taste the food and I can't eat it because too salt. So what the doctor told me, she said, you keep off of sugar for a while and keep, salt is not a problem, but the sugar. She said, keep off the sugar. The doctor, she said, take less and less. And I did that. You know what happened? One morning, Jennifer make cocoa tea, and she forget to sugar it. And I drink the whole cup of tea, and I didn't know it in sweet. I didn't know it had sugar in it. So
Mm.
when she came and she started drinking, she said, "Well, what me come tell me this thing ain't got sugar?" I said, "Well, I make a joke on this, so I'm to that. If you gotta give me sugar today, you want me sweet today." So, but I showing you that these little things. No, I'm doing farming, and I met a Rasta man, and he said to me one day, I was talking with him. He said to me, "I have a fruit here, a very small berry." He said to me, "You know what this is?" He said, "This is people diabetic." I say, "So what you gonna do to them?" He say, "You gonna make them stop use sugar." I say, "How come?" He say, "I giving you two." He said, he put one in his mouth. He said, "Eat it. Suck it until it dissolves in your mouth." I did it, and he gave me a couple take home. When I reached home, I was thirsty, and I went and drank some water. I said, "What the hell is this? This water has sugar in it. Jennifer, sugar eat this water here. What's come
Mm.
from the fridge?" He said, "No, it's sugar with water. It's sugar water. It's sweet. It tastes as if it have sugar in it."
Mm.
Then I realized what my dietitian told me. The taste buds are being compromised. So the taste
Mm.
buds is telling you the taste is not sweet. And you add more sugar and you keep adding sugar. So, in those ways, you learn from your doctors. And these people sit down with you. We come back to the point. They sit down with you, explain all of that to you, telling you how you can be
We lost Keith.
Ooh.
Yes, but I got a
I,
call on the line. Nice radio. Good afternoon. You're live.
A blessed afternoon, Carlisle, and a
Hey,
blessed afternoon to the panel.
hi. Good afternoon.
Good
Carlisle,
afternoon.
I just hope I didn't jumble up everything because so much of things that's there on my mind. Dr. Leacock, a couple months ago, I listened to you, right, on the program, and you're so intelligent. I think you're so advanced, with your thinking in the future because I hear mention also about the medical record for the Caribbean, that each hospital, like somebody could leave from St. Vincent, go to Grenada, Jamaica, wherever, and the medical record is there. When I listen to you speak, you understand? And, I don't even want to go back to, not really go back physical to St. Vincent, but what we so backward. These people take it we so backward. It's funny. And what politicians got to understand that doctors is lifetime. Politicians, lifetime span is 5 years. They got to understand that. That's one thing politicians need to understand. So when they get into government and they meet doctors there with knowledge and experience, they need to listen and don't try to use because they say, "Oh, you're the Minister of Health. Do you know it?" You don't know nothing. That is one part. The other part, Carl, I always say, I have to thank your sponsors. I thank them so much because without them, we wouldn't have this program. Thank Nice Radio. Who said God is not alive and God is not real? God is real. You see what's going on now? Listen to the callers you have in. This and this program you have, these last two programs, Mr. Howard, they, open up for the country and the rest of the world. Look at the callers you have. People look forward and listening. This is what we want. We don't want to hear no politics. I'm sorry to say, we only want to hear about politics. When the time comes to vote, you vote and it's done. That's it. This program is very important because a lot of people ain't have money to go to no doctors. And Dr. Leacock helping a lot. Please, I'm begging you guys, please continue doing the good work for the nation and around the world. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day, guys.
Thanks. All right. Well, gentlemen, we're running out of time. Keith, if you can wrap up for us, let me personally say it's been a tremendous benefit and privilege to have you on the program, boy. Our roots go deep. Name like White and Howard and Moto. What was Moto?
Douglas.
James and Douglas. Go hand in hand. With Fort Charlotte. Let me thank you personally for coming on the program and sharing your and sharing your experiences with us. Anything you want to say in closing, because we're running out of time.
All right, Carla. Remember,
Mm.
remember, your grandmother is my godmother.
Yeah, yes. Indeed.
And after that, your grandmother was one of my father's best friend and my mother's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that my brother Douglas got his name because of your surname.
Family, yes.
My father
So we
had
go
to
deep.
call him Douglas.
So we go deep. We go deep.
You understand?
Mm. Yes.
So that is how far we go. Anyhow, I just wrapping up and say, well, it was a pleasure talking to the people and St. Vince about this thing. I did this thing several years ago on national television. And one of the one of the things people keep telling me, boy, you're brave. I ain't find anything brave about that. When you do things and you're honest with what I do, and you didn't tell any lies with what you say, then you're happy. And I am happy. I don't hesitate. And I just would like to say to everybody, especially my brothers, the men folk in the world, that the best thing to do in life, the first thing to do in life is make sure that you're healthy. And being healthy means checking yourself. And with health, you will get wealth. So with that, I will close off for now.
All right.
Thank you,
And you
Mr.
call
Howard.
it, you
Thank
call
you.
that George, right?
Thank you.
All right, we go to the next Howard, next king, the next.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I thank my brother for coming on, and
He's not a judge, he's a dog.
eh?
He's not a judge, he's a dog.
Yeah.
What are you, interruptionist? Let him talk.
I thank
Laugh
my
at
brother
George
for coming
medicine
on
mate.
Yeah, go ahead.
because this is his 13th year of surviving from being diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I am pretty sure that he didn't say this, but I'll say this for him, that his PSA level right now is 0 after 13 years. And he could look forward to a full, healthy life. As you see, he's on his farm. He's doing plenty work. I think he is at the best of his life right now, even though some people may disagree. And I thank Dr. Leacock for insisting over the time since I have this that we will do this program. I thank Nice Radio and you, Carlisle, for facilitating it. But most of all, I want to thank the people who find it positive to use what was discussed in the last 2 weeks, and let us try to see how much we could get rid of the myth around prostate cancer. It's a men disease. It attacks black men more than the average rest of the men around the world, the other ethnicity around the world. And we have an obligation to help where we see help need. And that is why I have no problem. I'm like my brother. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to fear. I have none of that. I will talk about it because if it helped one person, I know I have done my job. I think God has blessed us, me and my brothers, to come and and speak about this today and last week. And I think we reach a point. The rest is in your hand. You have the responsibility now. You have the information and you have the responsibility. So if you get sick from prostate cancer and you have a lot of problems and you need financing and you never go and get checked from this day forth, don't ask Douglas Howard for no help. Have a good day.
All right, Captain Mac.
Yeah. First of all,
Let me skip you.
thank.
Let me skip you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Leacock, let's
Okay,
go. Dr. Leacock, you go
okay.
ahead.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I want to thank Garnet for coming along, and I want to also thank Doug for giving us this platform and support. And this is about others. It's not about us. I think the more we can do to promote things with regard to health and men's health in particular, because as Doug said, men don't go to doctors as often as women. I think it is critical and it's important. I just don't want us to forget that little caveat that I started with it. Young men who could have stoppage of water, not because of their prostate, but because of their sexual activity and incomplete treatment of sexually
Oh.
transmitted infections, which is on the rise. And just to let people know that there's a new strain of COVID out, right? Called I think it's called CRX COVID.
I'll call you back in a minute.
Um, thank,
Okay.
thankfully, th- thankfully, it is responding to to the vaccine seem to be effective against it and so forth. But don't forget that COVID is wrong and that COVID kills. And have a blessed weekend, folks.
All
Bye now.
right. The reason I left Mac for last is that
Yeah, my phone was on.
I actually interacted with the gentleman in Liu that we were talking about. I was speaking
Ah.
to Mac about a gentleman I saw in Liu that
Mm-hmm.
would not walk on the main street because he was blind. He was completely
Mm,
blind and was
mm,
basically walking from memory. And I want to save that for last because Mac has agreed that we can do a program on
yes.
surviving with disabilities. Mac has, let me put this to
Yes.
the general public that he is challenged, is visually challenged, and
Mm,
hopefully the next program we do, will be based on overcoming obstacles,
right.
and with those difficulties. Mac, go ahead and wrap up now.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Carlisle, for that. First of all, let me say, at least to that, one of the things that I live by every day is to. This is the mantra that I live by every day. Disability does not equate to inability, but we will discuss more of that next week. First of all, let me just make a slight correction. I said I used the word preventable. I think Doc would agree with me. I don't think prostate cancer is in and of itself preventable, but the suffering and the death that may occur is indeed preventable among so many of our men. And I want to personally thank both the Howards for coming on and being so open and honest with the lived experiences that they have and they continue to have as it relates to prostate cancer and surviving prostate cancer. And I want to call upon all of our men in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Of course, I don't know what the cost related to a PSA test is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but you have a responsibility for your own health, especially as it relates to your prostate health. And there are steps that you can take to prevent yourself from having to go through this traumatic experience of being diagnosed with prostate cancer, or even if you're diagnosed with prostate cancer, that you would not suffer the pain and some of the indignities that may come with it. Um, I also want to thank all of the people who form the supportive structure in Doug's and Garnet's life, because having a support structure is so important. Um, and I want to continue to wish them the best of health. Doug, I know you are in recovery, and I know you can beat this. And best of wishes to you. And let me wrap up by saying to the wonderful people of Liu, God's richest blessings. Have a great weekend and extend condolences personally to the family of Mr. Edward Hazelwood, who passed away. Condolences to his sisters, Sue, Olive, Carmen. I don't know the other siblings. I think Telesford had passed away. All nieces, nephews, and so on and so forth. Edward was a good friend of mine, very funny. May his soul rest in peace. So take it easy, everybody, and I hope this program was worth the effort in terms of bringing the knowledge to you, because to be forewarned is to be forearmed, especially in the case of as in the case of prostate cancer. Thank you, guys. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you. And let me say, the U.S. Bright with Action. We got the Sturdy
Oh
soccer tournament.
yeah.
Soccer tournament. And
Kudos.
speaking of, Sturdy himself is visually challenged. So that is so hopefully we can get him on the program as well. Talking about overcoming the difficulties where that is concerned. And yours truly should be heading there. Probably get some pictures and share them. And share them with the thing. Also, wait. No, let me leave that alone. But let me congratulate the new sponsors, Trend